Once, an Estonian soldier named Erik was serving his difficult duty on the shore of Lake Valg. At that time, military exercises were planned. A platoon of soldiers headed to perform the assigned task. Erik separated from the group and focused on his own work. He was laying a communication cable, but an unexpected surprise awaited him. At first, everything was calm. The trees rustled with leaves, birds chirped, and the soldier was in a good mood despite the heavy gear and ammunition he carried. In the silence of the forest, the crunch of every twig under the heavy soldier's boot could be heard. Erik continued his path alone when he suddenly heard a strange sound. It resembled the plaintive mewing of a kitten. The soldier thought he was imagining things. Where could a kitten appear in the middle of the forest, far from human habitation? But the sounds did not cease and puzzled the young man. He froze in place, continuing to listen and trying to understand where the source of the plaintive sounds was located. Suddenly, something moved among the young undergrowth. It was some kind of creature that looked like a dog. The soldier decided to approach closer and realized he was mistaken. The animal resembled a skinny, long calf, and it turned out to be a moose calf. Confused, he sat on the trunk of a fallen tree and awaited developments. The calf, seeing the man, limped over to the soldier and pressed its wet, soft nose into his chest. It eagerly sniffed around his uniform, quieting down only when it found something under his armpit. The calf froze on its thin, long legs and snorted loudly. Erik realized that he was in front of a very young calf that had gotten separated from its mother and was lost in the dense forest. The young man found himself in a strange situation. On one hand, he needed to continue his service, but on the other, he did not want to abandon the defenseless animal that trustfully snorted under his hand, mistaking him for its mother. This continued for about an hour. Erik's arms and legs grew numb. He understood that the calf's mother might take a long time to return, perhaps having fallen victim to poachers and would not come back at all. Very carefully, trying not to make any sudden movements, the soldier took his phone out of his chest pocket and cautiously dialed the number of the veterinary service. The specialists were puzzled by the unusual call but quickly understood the situation. They asked him to remain calm, provide his coordinates, and wait for help. An hour later, a veterinarian arrived at the location with a bottle of milk, which attracted the calf and freed the exhausted soldier. At the request of the Environmental Protection Service, the unit changed its location to avoid scaring the animal away. At night, the soldiers heard the call of an adult moose filled with anxiety and despair. This was the mother searching the forest for her child. The night passed in worry and speculation. The next day, Erik discovered 2 sets of tracks, large and small. This meant that the mother had found her lost calf and led it further into the woods. The story ended well. The young soldier was glad that he fulfilled his duty not only to people but also to animals. He believed he should protect all living beings, including the inhabitants of the forest. A video recording from the soldier's phone remained as a memory of this incident, made by his comrade Elf. They enjoyed watching it during their free time from service. This case made such a strong impression on the young man that he made a decision that changed his life. After completing his military service, Erik exchanged his uniform for the attire of a ranger and dedicated his life to protecting the forest inhabitants.